Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you'll be listening to a hypnosis session designed to manifest a slim and successful future. This particular client was really into the law of attraction and this idea of manifesting what you want in life. And my job as a therapist is to utilize the pre-existing belief systems and ways of thinking and to harness that in a way to create positive change. So knowing that this client was interested in this idea of manifestation, the hypnosis session starts where she's actually in the future that she desires most, living in this large, country home in a big farm, big countryside, and surrounded by nature, surrounded by greenery. And then thinking back on what it took to manifest this future. And there were two key ingredients for her that she wanted in her future. One was to be slim. She wanted to lose weight. And it's much better to desire the goal to be slim than it is to lose weight, because one's a positive, attainable thing. And to lose weight, you could lose a pound and that becomes successful if you don't really define it. But slim, most people would create an internal representation of what it is to be slim for them. So this idea of her becoming thin and slim was linked to this idea that her body fat was actually a secret store of energy. So there's an analogy here that imagine finding a bank account that you didn't know about that had, $95,000 in. That would be exciting. And the way in which, in the hypnosis session, she activates that is by having a low sugar, low refined carbohydrate diet. Because when your blood sugar is low, that kind of lifts the invisibility cloak over your body fat cells. And it's like your body discovers that you have all this energy that it didn't know that it had, because it's then usable for it. So there's an analogy there. There's also an element of her wanting a career that needed a degree, and therefore a way of thinking about the time that she had access to anyway, but changing her priorities about how to use that time would then manifest this desirable future. So for her future, her income was going up and her body shape was changing. And you'll hear lots of suggestions here that affirmations and manifestations only work if you make different choices and if you make the effort to align with those things that you want. And that's where most people get the law of attraction wrong. They set their intentions and they almost forget about them. And that's ridiculous on so many levels, because, and I've interviewed many people that were featured in the book and the movie, The Secret. They all emphasize the same thing. Yes, you need to be clear on the future that you want, but you have to align that with the necessary actions to make that achievable. So you hear lots of suggestions about that. If you're listening to this and you are into the law of attraction, but you want to harness it specifically to create change for you, there will be a link nearby that you can schedule a free 30-minute consultation call to explore working with me. But you might find that if you also want a slim and successful future, even if you change some of the suggestions to make them more relevant for you, or just ignore the irrelevant ones, you might find that you get a lot of value out of this particular session. So find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, that's it. Just relax those eyelids, enabling you to go deeper, relaxed. And you can position your body in a way to make you even more comfortable. And as you continue to breathe in and breathe out, give permission to yourself to release any feelings of tension, any feelings of stress, any feelings of worry. Breathe in that resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, allow anything no longer necessary to just leave your body. And you can go deeper and deeper relaxed. And I wonder just how relaxed you can go as you release that tension. Allow feelings of stress and anxiety to just melt away. And as your body relaxes, I want your imagination to activate the playful, imaginative part that you used to access all the time as a child. You remember those days as a child where you would daydream and you would play with toys and give them names and voices. And your imagination could create entire worlds that were real at that point in time. So I want you to harness that power of your imagination. And imagine a beautiful farmhouse surrounded by acres of green fields, beautiful trees, perhaps with blossom. And I want you to imagine a beautiful building with a wraparound porch. Imagine seeing this from above, seeing it surrounded by beautiful landscape. And I want you to accept the suggestion that this house or something like it is a glimpse into your future. And I want you to see someone that looks like you, but slimmer, more confident, and more self-assured, sat on a porch, looking out at the nature that surrounds you. I want you to imagine that you are now in that version of you, feeling how good it feels to be slim, healthy, confident, and self-assured. This is you in the future, feeling like you're in the present. And I want you to think back to how you manifested changes in your life. Firstly, I want you to think back to a change that took place in your body shape. Remember that it only took subtle changes consistently over time to create a radical difference in your body composition. And I want you to see that version of you in the past making excellent choices of what to eat, when to eat, but also how to eat. Notice that when you slowed down your eating, really enjoyed the choices you were making, slow down your eating so you can really appreciate the tastes. Eating slowly enough so you could notice when you were full and didn't want any more, perhaps while there was still food on your plate. Notice as you made those choices, your body started to lose body fat. And what you lost in body fat, you gained in a wonderful feeling of confidence and self-esteem. But there was one moment that accelerated the speed of that weight loss. A time when you started looking at the body fat on your body as an opportunity. I want you to go back to that point in your life where you were already making healthy choices, and a thought popped into your head about a hidden bank vault. I want you to make a picture in your mind of a hidden bank vault, and in that hidden bank vault is $95,000. And I want you to imagine that this bank vault is sealed. You can't access this hidden safe, this vault, but it's yours. It's your money. And the way that you activate this first vault is by deciding that you don't need high sugar or highly processed foods. That when your blood sugar level is low, notice the vault door opens and you've got all that spending money. And there is just one condition. This money can only be spent on things that involve you having fun and being active by using your body. I want you to imagine that the door opens and you start thinking about the wonderful things that you could do. Maybe swimming, maybe a sport, maybe walking, maybe doing exercise with a friend. There will be a time in your life when you're very old that you'll think back to these days when you were able to be active and to move your body. And therefore tap into this wonderful feeling of gratitude and opportunity. That being active and exercising isn't something you have to do. It's something you get to do. And then observe that version of you doing all these wonderful exercises and activities. Noticing that again, it changes your body composition. As that version of you understands that body fat is just stored energy, and there is 95,000 calories stored on your body that are there for spending. And the more you spend on fun activities, sports, movement, the more you're training your body that you don't need this energy stored on you anymore. And see that version of you spending perhaps weeks or months consistently being active while continuing to make great, healthy choices when it comes to the food that you eat. And notice that your body is changing shape. And bodies don't change shape in a gradual way. There's always a lag time. You do the right thing and only notice minor changes, and you keep doing the right thing and still only notice minor changes. And then you forget to even look for changes. And then one day you catch yourself in the mirror and you've completely transformed. And imagine that's happening now, that you catch yourself in a mirror perhaps weeks or months after being more active, of spending that hidden bank account of calories that you had stored on your body all this time. Notice how you look. And what you've lost in body fat, you've gained in confidence and high self-esteem. And doesn't it feel good to see that version of you radically changing? Because you saw activity and exercise as an opportunity to use your body in a way that one day you won't be able to. And wouldn't it be lovely when you're 105 years old to think back to this time in your life where you really made the most of the body you have? And then I want you to observe yourself at the point that work is meant to finish. Notice the time on the clock. Notice the room you're in. And I want you to notice that this version of you is doing something different. It's the same version of you, but this version of you has a boundary. That when the clock hits a certain time, you stop working for your company and start working on yourself. The true definition of manifestation is to apply action to the law of attraction. You have a dream, you have a future. But the world is filled with people that had big dreams and compelling futures, but didn't apply any action to their dreams and futures. And I want you to see a version of you that for that period when work finishes, for just 2 hours or so, consistently working on you, on giving a gift to the future version of you that means that your income will increase, your status will increase, and perhaps lead to a chain reaction where you end up living in a beautiful home, surrounded by a large porch, looking out at magnificent, wonderful countryside. I want you to see that version of you doing whatever is necessary to turn dreams into reality, to turn thoughts into things. Maybe you see yourself studying, reading, watching videos, writing down notes, asking questions. Notice that that version of you may find it difficult the first day or two, but that's no different from when you start to lose weight. The first few days aren't about losing weight, it's about creating new habits and routines. And now you're seeing yourself create new habits and routines to give a gift to the future version of you, to the family of your future, and drift into that future where you see the benefits that your children get from this time that you've invested. What it means in terms of where you live and how you live. See that version of you with an enhanced lifestyle, and know it all came down to you scheduling time and being willing to use that time wisely. And if you can see that version of you being willing to give a gift to your future self, giving a gift to your children, a gift that could take the trajectory of their life into entirely different directions, if that's not just appealing, but also a viable, realistic way of you using time in that window, just let me know by nodding your head. And then step into that version of you. The version of you where it's 1 minute before work finishes. Imagine spending that final minute just tying up the loose ends, drawing a line in the sand of that work that you're doing. And I want you to imagine that you've started a ritual, a routine. Maybe it's that you work on yourself in a different location. Or maybe you have some ritual that you do to draw a line between working for a company and then working on you. Maybe you change clothes, maybe you have a shower, maybe you have a stretch, but then see yourself working for 2 hours on you, and then step into that version of you and feel like you're working for 2 hours on you. And it's not challenging because it's aligned with your highest values, the way that you get to have the biggest impact on the world, the way that you give a gift to your children and your future. And then imagine it gets to perhaps 2 or 3 hours later, and notice how much more you can enjoy your evenings when you reflect back on a day of making great healthy choices as to what you ate, how active you were, the work you did for your company, but also the biggest feeling of pride you get from the work you did on yourself, the gift you gave your future, the action that you applied to the law of attraction. I want you to consider this 2 or 3 hours manifestation time. You invest in your dreams. And then find yourself back there on a porch in a wonderful farmhouse, looking out over wonderful countryside and being grateful to that younger version of you that was able to make great choices, that the future version of you benefited from health, from confidence, benefited financially, and a sense of pride and accomplishment and lifestyle as a result of the choices of an earlier version of themselves. You are unlocking all of the resources to have evidence that you believe in your future by investing in your future. And the best bet that anyone can make is choosing to bet on themselves. And you've made that bet, you've made that choice, a vote of confidence that you believe in you and your future, knowing that it is deserved and desirable. I want you to imagine walking around your beautiful home, knowing that you deserve it, and more importantly, knowing that you manifested it by giving action and effort to your dreams. And it feels good to have a glimpse of a future that you've manifested. But it's now time to go back to the present, but taking that absolute conviction that your future is not a possibility, it's a destiny. Unlocking all of the resources and self-belief necessary to make that true. But also knowing you didn't need to be perfect to do it. You just needed consistency. And you are unlocking the tenacity and resilience to do whatever it takes to create the future you deserve. Back in the present, listening to my voice, take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Very soon, when I count from 1 to 10, you will awaken. You will awaken with a new belief that body fat is simply energy that you'd stored in a bank account and forgot about, and now it's time to spend it. But you will also awaken with a deep conviction, a conviction that dreams plus your desire will create your destiny. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.